All right. Episode 76 tonight. We have Abby from the curly-haired keeper. It's going to be a good show. But before I bring them out, we're going to start doing the joke of the week before I bring them out, because then I ain't got to worry about working it in. I just get it out of the way. I got to turn the volume down first. There we go. I just get it out of the way. So this week's joke is, what does a pizza delivery person and a gynecologist have in common? Let me put this back out here. Okay, so comments. They are always close to the product, but they can't ever eat it. Liked it. So, okay, we'll get Stan and the curly-haired keeper, Abby, out here in a minute, but shout out to the sponsors, RGI, Area, and Static Morphs, and we added a new one. Will from 217 Morphs. Thank you. We appreciate you. Bring Stan out. What's up, Stan? How's it going?
What up? What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Ken,
I was worried about that joke a little bit. It's a little, we're having a girl on the show.
You didn't come on. You didn't run it by me backstage first. I'm gonna kick you in the foot Friday when I see you next Friday.
I just let him go anymore.
I'll kick you in the good foot, though.
Yeah, the good one, not the left. Hi, Abby. How's it going?
Hey, good.
Hello, Abby. How are you?
I giggled at the joke, so
it was kind of funny, wasn't it?
It was kind of funny, yeah.
I'd like to watch it a little bit, just out of respect to the women, and not try to get too vulgar, because I've told some really borderline jokes on this thing, and I try to be PG.
Any
18.
of us who watched Sex and the City are going to be just fine. It gets much more.
I'm trying to go all the way back up. The chat's crazy here, but
yeah, the chat's
I gotta get a mouse, because sitting here trying to use this little pad is just not just not cool, and it's not working. But we're over 20. We're over 20, so Abby, I'm sorry.
Man.
Boy, you're getting it all tonight. So that's the Truffle Shuffle. We do that whenever we get over 20 in the chat.
That's awesome.
And I'm glad you got to witness it.
Hey, I'm a Goonies fan, so I'm here for any of the truffling and the shuffling.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Will? Newest sponsor on the board. Thanks for coming in. Zombie brother, what's up, dude?
What's up, Vance?
We gotta go quick through this, because there's a lot of people and a lot of chat.
Yeah, man.
Nathan, how's it going, dude?
What up, Nate?
Stan's double dipping. What up, Stan?
Sir.
Double dipper.
You know me. Gotta say what's up to the peeps.
This clicker just ain't working right this week. It ain't doing what I'm telling it to.
Well, this weekend you better go get a mouse.
Yeah, I have a mouse. I just need to get a mouse pad. That's the thing. And this week, it made me angry enough and frustrated enough that I just decided I'm getting a freaking mouse pad. Screw that little square. I don't like it. What's up, Crystal? How's it going?
What's up, Crystal?
James Perry. How's it going, James? Thanks for coming in. Brother Bosa.
PK, my brother.
I clicked you 3 times now. There you go. Bosa, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Bosa.
Guy.
I hope you can make it this weekend. I know you said you was going to, or next week, I should say. I know you said you was going to try, but I hope you can. It'd be a pleasure to meet you. Freddie! What up, Fred?
What up, Fred?
Thanks for coming in, Fred.
Make sure everybody's supporting that USR Florida, too, now. Come on.
More Ford fan, what's up?
What's good, John?
I got the 419 shirt on tonight. Glenn over 419.
Rocking Glenn's shirt. All right.
They got a Morph ID Wednesday that's been pretty interesting. I click on every once in a while. Check it out sometimes. It's pretty interesting. All right, so I have to post this one. Apparently, Will from Will's How of Heat knows everything. Didn't know who you was, so that's Abby. Will.
Hi.
What's up, Will?
We pick on each other constantly. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
Will
just
ain't
all
got
good
that
fun.
garbage podcast out there.
Ro,
The
what
brother
up,
Ro.
5.0?
Thanks for your services, my man.
Yes, sir. Shauna Connor. Things are coming in, Shauna.
Shauna.
What up, Brave? How's it going?
It's good, Brave.
We're about halfway through. I mean, chat's going off tonight.
It's popping. It's popping.
Sammy.
I see
What
my
up,
man Eddie in
Sammy?
the building. Oh, hashtag MIP.
We got Genomic Labs. What's up, dude? Thanks for coming in.
What's up, Jason?
Appreciate the support. We got the homie Tommy. What up, dude?
Tommy. That's the
Ewok.
brother. Me
That's
and
the
him was
brother.
chilling a couple weekends ago.
Alright, going on down. There's another one. James B. What's up, All City? Thanks for coming in.
James B. A lot of Jameses. James B. James P.
It's like the names come in flashes. Like Will was the only Will for a while. Now there's like 20 Wills.
Yeah, and if there's a spin for win, he's the only Will, he said. Any other Will wins, it's me.
That's convenient.
We got the homie Brian from Heathen Hatchery. What's up, Mr. Ross?
What's good, Brian? We'll see
Patrick
you in a
from
couple weeks.
Macomorphs.
What's up, Patrick?
We got Nikki and Kurt from Irresistibles. Thanks for coming
Nikki, Kurt.
How's your Aunt Vicky doing?
Should be killing it
she's
on
well.
them reels.
We got the homie Jay Green Line. What's going on,
What up,
dude?
Jay?
Thank you
Appreciate
for
your
your
service, my
service
brother.
as well. Mission Morphs, what's up? Mission Morphs.
Yeah, boy.
We got the sponsor Eddie up in here. What's up,
Oh,
Eddie?
Eddie in the
Static
building.
Morphs.
Yes, sir. He's got the heat over there. If y'all ain't following
Yeah.
Eddie, make sure you go follow him.
Yeah, get over there on Instagram and follow him. He'll be like jaw dropping. He's got some nice stuff. We got the homie Nick up in here. 666. What's up, Nick? We're over 30, so we're up to $15. I counted. We was at 13 before last week. We hit 30. It was 14. This week's 15. So every time the chat gets 30, I donate $1 to USR. 40, it's $5. We don't hit that much, but we've been hitting 30.
That's awesome.
We are big USR nuts. We try to do as much for them as we can. Oh, Edge of Panic. What's up, Jose? Thanks for coming in. Where'd Stan go? He disappeared.
I know. You pulled a magic
Oh,
act.
no. He'll be back. What's up, Chris? The Fat Man. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming in. All right. Almost there, I think.
There's a lot. There's so
Yeah.
much in the chat right now.
What up, Pat? Homie from North Florida, Cold Blood. How's it going, buddy? Upstate, Tom. What up, dude? Thanks for coming in. Barnes Family Pods. Hello. We might get to ask you some questions. I mean, we might just surf through the chat all night and
I know,
do
right?
shout out. All right, I think we're at the end. And Stan's back. You ready to take over the chat?
Yeah, boy.
I got all the way down.
No, you
Yeah,
did. Where'd
boy.
you get? Where'd you get to last? My bad,
Right to
everybody.
David. What's up, David?
Oh, you got
What's
to
up?
David. What's up, Chris? What's
I
up,
got Chris, all
Patrick?
that, but
My brother Patrick's in the building. Yeah, man. I missed him. Nick, what's up? Anybody
You missed
else?
a
I
few.
miss you. What's up? My bad. Sorry if I interrupted.
No, that's all right.
I
Beyond
got
the
I
Skills
got the
podcast.
yeah, I got the chat over here now.
There's all right. You got the chat. So,
Yes,
Abby,
sir.
finally, give us your best elevator pitch. Who are you? Where you're from? How long you been doing this?
Oh, geez. So I'm originally from the West Coast, but I live in Pennsylvania now, which is great.
Nice.
Love it out here. So, yeah.
We're at in PA.
We are in Katanning.
Yeah,
About
north of
45
Pittsburgh.
Yep. Yeah. So we're not too far from Reach Out Reptiles. So
Nice.
yeah, and I've been. How long have I been doing this? For
What up, David?
almost 3 years. So I'm still pretty new. I've been keeping all different kinds of animals since I was a very young child. But reptiles specifically, like snakes specifically, for almost 3 years now.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm over in State College, and I grew up just south of Pittsburgh, so I know that area pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love it out here. I'm originally from Oregon, so West PA is similar vibes.
From one
I haven't
side of the
been out
country
that
to
way.
the other.
I haven't been out that way, but my brother has, and he says the landscape is pretty similar.
Yeah,
So.
it's gorgeous out there. Very green, lots of mountains.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like here.
Lots of rain. Yeah.
The rain's hit and miss, but the green, the mountains, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So after going through your Instagram, you seem like you're into the bigger snakes more than like the smaller snakes. Why do you prefer the bigger ones? I mean,
I don't know if it was necessarily like a preferring bigger snakes more than
nerd.
Yeah, it was more just the standard behavior of the larger snakes, like the retics. They're very interactive, and that's really what drew me to them. The fact that they're larger is just kind of nice because they can't get lost as easily as the little ones. Like I've seen like baby corn snakes at pet expos and stuff. I'm like, how do you not lose this every 10 seconds? It's so tiny. Like I'm used to 7 to 12 foot snakes, but this is too small. I can't. This is terrifying.
Right. I'm in that stage right now to where like I do ball pythons. Like I'm not that experienced, and I see everyone having these bigger snakes, and it just makes me want one of these things, but I just don't. I don't know. I just I'm still hesitant. Like that's a lot of snake.
It is, and like to be fully transparent, my husband and I keep primarily dwarf and super dwarf retics, so we don't even keep like the big ones. So relatively speaking, they're like our 12-foot girl Stella is much smaller than your standard mainland female would be. Right. So yeah, I mean it's kind of relatively speaking, but it's still, 12-foot snake is still a lot of snake.
Yeah, that's still upwards of 200 pounds. I mean, in some cases.
Yeah, for the mainlands, for sure. They can get pretty chunky, for sure.
But, I mean, from what I hear, for lack of better words, it's how you feed them. Like, depends on how big they get. Like, I don't want to say you got to half starve them to death to not get big, but you just got to feed them smaller meals and not just let them gorge yourselves.
Yeah, they will definitely eat pretty much anything. I've never had a retic refuse anything unless they're like super in blue, and even then most of mine will devour anything that I put in front of their face that's food. But yeah, I found from personal experience, like genetics have a lot to do with it too. Right. So we have like our super dwarf girl who's 12 feet long and 9 years old. And then we have a dwarf girl who's more than likely going to wind up much smaller than our super dwarf girl, just because genetically, like her mom is just over 10 feet long at 11 years old. And she's like our orange glow girl. She's tiny. She's 2 years old and she's like so small. Like, will you grow? She eats fine. She's healthy. She like devours everything. She's just staying really small. So I think genetics have a lot to do with it. And that combined with like locality percentage can make a big difference.
So do you want to explain like the difference between a dwarf and a super dwarf? I mean, I did this very early on and read into it. So there's a good article on Morph Market about it. So I pretty much know the ins and outs of it, but do you want to go over that?
Yeah, I certainly can touch on it. I'm not like an expert like Garrett Hartle level. He has good stuff and information out there, but it's dwarf and super dwarf is an industry term. What I tend to like to use instead is locality percentages, because that speaks to like the islands that they come from and speaks a little bit more specifically in terms of kind of the standard size that adults will get to. So factoring in what was the locality carrier? Was it the mom or was it the dad? Like that can also play a factor, because from what I've learned from I have had one clutch of retics. I did it maternal incubation style. So mom did all of the work. So I do not consider myself a breeder at all. But from talking to other breeders that are very experienced, have been doing this for a really long time, they've noticed that the babies tend to take after size-wise the mom's side. So if you have a bigger female and breed to a tiny male, averaged out, they might wind up a little smaller, but they'll stay more on the side of like the mom's genetic side. So.
And the reason why a locality is so important in these things, because like, I guess like, the land flooded and these snakes got trapped on this little island. So their food source for years has been smaller prey. So genetically, that's why they're smaller.
Yeah. And just a smaller land mass as well. So there's less actual physical square foot of environment to inhabit. So I think that also plays into that as well.
So what advice would you give a person that's like an experienced snake person, reptile person? What advice would you give them about getting into bigger snakes? And then what kind of advice would you give to a not experienced person that wants to get like a dwarf or a super dwarf?
Or super dwarf? That's a really good question. It honestly depends on the individual and how comfortable they are. I just my primary recommendation is get one as a baby so you can grow up with it. I've brought
What's up, Josh?
retics home that were very young and very small and worked from them from tiny little babies. And I've brought like Stella, I brought home when she was 8 years old and 12 feet long already. So there's just something about you learn the nuances of their behaviors when they're babies and like grow up with them essentially. So like if my boy Aries, who's, a little over 7 feet, if he comes out hot or strikes or whatever, it's like, it doesn't faze me at all. I'm like, whatever. And I like pull him out anyway. Whereas if it's a new adult animal I have in my care and they come out hot, it's a little bit more, I approach that with a little bit more precautions, I guess. Like if my male strikes at me, I don't even use a hook. I know him so well. I'm like, come on, you're fine.
I guess I have two snakes that I know that they're going to strike at me every chance that they get. So I'm very cautious around them too. But yeah, you're right. If ones that you're not expecting it, those are the ones that really, because I feel the same way. Like, I got into this and everyone's saying you want to buy, your adult breeder female so you don't have to wait. And I'm like, no, I'm new to this. I'm going to buy a baby and I'm going to raise this thing. So I know its tendencies and it serves me well. What up, Wiz?
Good, Wiz.
But yeah, that to a newer breeder, I think that's the biggest thing. Like getting to know the snake and getting to know, well, not breeder, a newer keeper, I should say. Just getting to know the body language of that specific, snake or whatever.
Individual, yeah, because it can vary for sure. Like we have one girl who we also brought home as a adult, who's 4 years old, and she's quirky as all get up. Like she is a quirky, like behaviorally, she's so different from all my other retics. So that was a big learning curve because I'm like, she comes out hot pretty reliably, and then reacting to that and learning how to read her different behaviors it was an awesome learning opportunity and continues to be. But yeah, it's just from snake to snake, even within the same species, it's so different. Like the behaviors can be so different.
Like it's even out the egg. You could tell which ones that are just going to be that snake. Like he's the one as a baby that's like jumping out at you, like trying to get you. And
yeah, we had
they're
one
so cute.
We had one like that come out of the clutch, but as soon as he shed his egg skin, he was like total 180 and was like, I'm chill now. I just want to hang out all the time. I'm like, okay. It's like apparently your egg skin was just too tight when you, I don't know. Like it was just really
your egg skin was too tight. That's funny. So where do you see yourself in the next 10 years with the reptiles?
Oh, geez. I'm really boring when it comes to that question because we keep the way that we keep, we have a very finite amount of space that we have. So we have to be really, really mindful about what animals, if any, we're choosing to add into our home. So yeah, at this point, we're so pleased with our setups and like what we have going on and like the future upgrades that we have planned. So yeah, probably pipe dream, but if we like built another like building to do even larger enclosures and maybe be able to add a couple other animals, but yeah, I'm really boring when it comes to that question.
Well, because you keep a lot of bigger snakes and their housing takes a lot of room up. So
it does.
That has to figure in what direction you want to go for sure.
Yeah, and we do want to really focus on, we keep primarily in bioactive and like doing the more natural process as far as like maternal incubation and stuff like that. We want to make that our norm in our approach to breeding. So our breeding is going to have to be very like one clutch, maybe two if it's like a smaller locality with smaller clutches every year, or every other year, especially since we also do bioactives for the babies right out of the gate. So it's right. Yeah, we have a little bit of limitation. We've limited ourselves essentially because of that.
Right. You kind of have to. I mean, with the space, the amount of space it takes up, it's kind of, you have to target what you really want to do. I mean, plus you said, a clutch every year or two, you're putting out what, 20 the update 60 babies in one clutch?
Probably not quite that much, because the biggest clutch that we would probably be Stella, our 12-foot girl. She produces on average about 30 eggs a clutch.
Right.
And then our other girl that's breeding age, who's April O'Neil, she's a Kayuwadi locality, and she's like 8 foot, just under 8 foot now. So her clutches are going to be much smaller. Like if she hasn't gone yet, she still hasn't laid a clutch, but when she does, I would be surprised if she laid like a dozen eggs, honestly. Like she's pretty small.
Are you going to add Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello at some point?
Those are going to be the baby names. Just to say,
all right.
Future babies, yeah.
Bebop and Rocksteady and.
Yep, all of it.
That was like the last thing I did as a kid. Like when the Ninja Turtles first came out, that was like the last toy that I got into before I quit playing with toys. So I'm like a Turtles fan for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, we can't take credit for her name. She had that name when she came here, but
nice.
Yeah, we always get, whenever I post her on like Insta or whatever, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, her name!" I know, it's awesome. I can't take credit. I'm so mad about it.
You can't even take credit for it. Like, geez, why even tell people? Just, it's that snake.
I know, that's true. I could just take credit and not say anything.
Why torture yourself? So what has been your guys' biggest mistake with this so far?
Biggest mistake. I'm trying to think. We haven't really, like, honestly, it's just been trial and error with the bioactive setups for the bigger snakes.
Right.
And like essentially test driving plants and layout and all of that stuff and spending a lot of money on stuff. I guess one of the biggest mistakes was I tried doing a custom background on one of my bigger enclosures, like the foamed it out and like carved it out, and it was horrible. So it was like a whole lot of money, and I wound up just tearing it down because I'm like, this is awful. Like
That's
my
crap.
site even like it. Like we need to get rid of this.
Right.
So that's definitely been a learning curve. I think we've got it pretty dialed in at this point, but yeah, it was an investment to figure out what worked and what didn't. And even now,
Right.
if we have someone in a bioactive and something happens, like medically or whatever, then we need to like take out the bioactive and do it in like a paper setup or whatever. So that's always, it's one of those things I try and share so people who decide they want to go the bioactive route knows what steps could potentially need to be done in the future if something like comes up where they need to do a sanitary setup and they don't want to buy a whole other separate enclosure. But yeah.
Yeah, because bioactives, like I mean, I guess you would spot clean, but you don't really change it out.
Yeah, so I do manual aeration about every 2 to 3 weeks and go through and like clean out anything that's left over. Cause like the isopod, the cleanup crews, the isopods, springtails, all of that stuff, they'll eat most everything, but you'll generally have like hair and feathers left over that need to be cleaned out. Sometimes plants need to be watered, things like that. Isopods sometimes need to be reestablished if something happens. We did have a little like annoying moth infestation happen a few months back. So that was like, oh crap. Like you can't just go in and spray everything down with a, pesticide to kill everything.
Right.
Then you
kill it.
And you're like, oh crap. And then you have to start. So you have to get really you have to approach it in a different way. And it takes a little bit longer to fix everything.
Yeah, in PA, we definitely have a moth problem. And then even a ladybug problem here and there. I've seen like where there's thousands of ladybugs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, and ladybugs do bite. I don't know if you guys know this, but if they land on you and let them sit there, they will bite you, and it stings. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you. No one believes me that ladybug bites, but they do. So how far would you take the reptiles if you hit the Powerball and money wasn't an issue?
Oh my gosh. Oh, my husband would hate that. No, there's definitely some stuff that we would love to do that would be a decent investment. Like building another building and dedicating like so I'm a behavior junkie. I love observing like snake behavior specifically.
Right.
And I would love to build something that essentially replicates a little like chunk of the Indonesian jungle and
right.
just
the original habitat.
Yeah, like have it big enough where I could have my females cohab in the same space, like huge, like it would need to be ridiculously large. And I would just want to see like what would shift in the behavior,
Right.
That would be super cool. But yeah, as far as breeding and stuff, we're not super focused on, we have some nice morphs that we're working with the dwarf and super dwarf, but we're not specifically like, we're not chasing anything. We're not like, we have a very specific audience that we're looking to target. And we really want to provide really docile, tractable pet retics to people who are seeking a pet that's really well established and used to interaction with people and, is ready to go, like choice-based, all of that fun stuff. That's kind of our focus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever decide to get one, like I would definitely, that would definitely attract me. Like one that's really, used to being handled and not aggressive. I mean, because that's just a lot of angry snake if it gets angry.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, like we do try and provide a really strong support base for the however long you have that animal, like however long that animal is in existence, we are here to support you. It's not a, cool, it's paid for, bye, see you never. I mean,
Right.
like I feel like retics they're a big commitment in every sense of the word. Like if you ever run into issues, you never know. Sometimes they hit terrible twos and they get like in moods where they're all of a sudden like this very tractable animal is all of a sudden like striking like crazy at you, and you're like, what the heck? All of a sudden I have the 7-foot snake striking at me. What do I do?
Right.
So being there to kind of walk people through any behavioral shifts or anything like that is our goal.
One of my big females, like she laid this year, and she was fine right after she laid. She got back on food, but here the last 2 weeks, she's just been like at the front of the tub, coming out the tub, and I don't even have to have food. And she's coming out the tub. She's not really striking at me. She's just like trying to fly out the tub.
Oh,
and I don't know. I mean, I cleaned it the first time she did it, and she's still trying to fly out. And I don't understand what's going on. But she's just. I mean, I did change kind of where she was in the rack, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Put a hide in there.
She's kind of big for a hide, though, dude.
It don't matter.
Like
They'll get underneath it. I have my banana female, and she's the same way. If there's not a hide in her tub, she won't eat. I don't care. You can throw it in there every single week. She won't eat.
No, she's eating. Them rats don't even hit the ground, and she's got them wrapped.
She's looking for a hiding spot.
Maybe you could be right. You could absolutely be right.
Just try it out. Throw one in there and see what happens.
I'm just trying to figure out what I got that's big, because I mean she's one of the bigger, she's probably at least 3,200 grams, and she's
you better move her up to a 70 series then.
Yeah, I think she needs a bigger environment for sure, and that's one thing that I kind of try to pay attention to is like how they're acting and trying to solve that. And that's just been one thing that's been on my mind with her is she's been, that's a different action than what she has been doing per se. But I figured it was because she's looking for babies, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll keep working on it.
They're sensitive little buggers sometimes. Our girl April, we moved her we had her enclosure at like chest height for the longest time, and then we moved her to where she's like right at eye level now, and she's had a really rough time like adjusting to that height change. And that's the only thing that I'm assuming it's the height change. It's the only thing that changed. The enclosure didn't change, the setup didn't change, the temps, humidity, nothing else changed, but the height of her change. So I think because she's a little higher, she's just a little bit more in ambush like height.
Yeah.
So I think that's been throwing her off a little bit. So I've had to re-teach her how to like essentially not come out hot every time.
Yeah, like don't come at me, bro. Like why are you doing that?
Yeah, so we got a pretty good routine down now, but like the way I got her out shifted a little bit, and yeah, it's just I had to adjust my approach to how she was behaving so I could respond accordingly, because she was just I literally think it was just she went up by a couple feet. So
yeah, I think I'm going to put her back down and just see if it's that simple.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if that would change it.
For sure. I mean, if someone else is seeing it in like a different kind of snake, I mean, I know, like for instance, when it starts to storm, like that's the best time to pair these things.
Yeah.
Like, and they lock together like flat. Like there's a storm coming, it's on. Mm-hmm. So moving them I don't know, but that's only like 3-4 feet up higher. I mean, would that really have effect on them? It's just strange. I mean, I'm not a snake. I don't know how I feel moving. So
yeah, and I don't know because it's all of ours are like sliding glass doors. So she has like a pretty good view out of the enclosure. So maybe just being higher up, that view shifted just enough for her to have to adjust, or really me have to adjust to her.
Right.
Yeah.
So if one of your favorite snakes got out and you can't find it right off the bat, how far are you going to find it?
Like, how far am I going, like, travel wise?
No, like how are you tearing walls apart? Are you tearing roof ceilings out? I mean,
like, we have to be careful in here because I do let my bigger retics free roam with supervision. But part of the reason they get supervised so closely is because we have a drop ceiling.
right.
Y'all are strong enough. If you wanted to pop a tile up and go into the roof, you would. And if one of them,
I bet you they could.
Oh, 100%. Our big girl April tries. Like, she'll move the top of the ceiling with her face. She hasn't figured it out yet. But I'm like, if I give you enough time and opportunity, you will figure it out. But yeah, if one of them got out and wound up in the ceiling, yeah, that ceiling's getting taken apart, and we're gonna go hunting. If heater in the enclosure doesn't work first, we'll try that first. But
I had a little hatchling get out on me, and I mean, I found every other one that got out, but this one, it just seems to be, I don't know, gone, like disappeared. And I mean, and I tore my bedroom apart, my daughter's room's apart. I mean, I spent probably 8 hours that first day looking for them.
Oh, yeah. They're so good at, like, if they want to hide, they can definitely hide. We had the first snake we ever got, our Colombian rainbow boa, got out of a medical tub that we had her in. It had a crack that we didn't realize, and she pushed out of that crack, and we literally tore the house apart looking for her. She was about a foot away from her enclosure, hiding in a little roll of, like, Christmas ribbon. I'm like, girl. Like, you're literally right there the entire time.
95% of the time, they're back behind a tub on a heat strip somewhere.
Yep.
I mean, like, and that's all with that once. I just can't find them. Hi, Mitzi. Thanks for coming in. It bums me out. It's not like that it's a valuable snake or anything. I mean, it was just, I made it and I let it get out. I feel responsible for it,
Yeah, it's life. Yeah.
No, I mean, it happens. I'm not sitting here crying, like beating myself up over it. I can't believe I lost it. But, it just bums me out.
Yeah.
So this is the question.
Ken?
It was with the pied clutch from last year. I mean, it was a last year snake. It wasn't, I mean, I've had it a while. I mean, it was about 3 months ago that it got out. I mean, in the middle of the night in my room, you hear weird noises. I still think he's in that closet somewhere. He won't let me catch him.
He's hanging out in your jacket pocket. You go to get it on this winter, he's going to be like, what's up?
I mean, I've looked in my boots. I've looked in every bag. I mean, I don't know. He's a slippery little bugger. I think I'm going to catch him still because I hear him. I think I hear him anyways. Maybe I'm just telling myself I hear him, but I hear him, all right?
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Oh, they're crossed all the time. But this is the question we ask everyone, and it's if you could have a superpower, what superpower would you pick?
I think being invisible would be pretty awesome. Not so I can spy on anybody, just because it would just be nice to disappear once in a while and not be able to just go about my business without anyone bothering me.
Now I used to say invisibility, and like I've been stuck on this whole mind trick thing. Like you could change everybody's mind that you want to, but like for a ball python breeder, I was thinking about this today. Wouldn't it be cool just to like be able to know every gene that's in a snake just by looking at it? Like it's this, like you automatically just know everything that's in it. Like
you make some big bucks that way.
Yeah, you can have some hell of breeding projects and
Yeah.
spending very little money. Because who knows what's in these things?
I know. Yeah, I know. Who was it? Stacy over at Anukai. I can't remember how they say their page, but they hatched out some wonky looking like morph wise, a new morph for one of the Superdorf localities. It's crazy. It's like, where did that come from?
Right?
No idea. Like, just super interesting.
Yeah, it would be. And then you could create all these super interesting snakes, and it would be so easy to succeed in this because you would have different. You would have, like, you know, if there's an unknown gene in it, you pick it up an unknown gene. All right, cool. I want that one. I want that one. You could just go pick and choose and have a bunch of unknown genes and things that people don't have.
Yeah, some people have that eye, or they could just look at something and be like, "Oh, is this, and this?" It's like,
I'll agree. Austin's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at on here? Can't read my writing. Hold on.
I know that struggle.
You can't read your own writing? Are you serious? What are you doing, Ken?
Because I forget letters here and there, you know what I mean? So I have to read the whole sentence to get what I'm saying. So what is one reptile that you would love to add to the collection if money was not an issue? Like, it could be a lizard, it could be anything.
Yeah, I would probably get some kind of monitor,
Nice.
like a Java bandit or something like that. Monitor lizards are just so fascinating to me. They're so smart. Yeah, we don't have a ton of four-legged reptiles in our house right now. So yeah, a monitor would be super cool, especially like getting it all. Like Java bandits are super cool because you get a water feature for it. And I think those like water feature enclosures are so cool.
Right.
But yeah, something like that. Or getting into some sort of like conservation project, like helping reestablish like the Kalatoa population in Kalatoa, like something like that, like something super nerdy.
Well, I don't know, that croaking snake that Kevin McCurley has. I don't know if you've ever seen them things.
No, I haven't. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that would just be neat. I mean,
pretty wild. I thought I was hearing things when he had it on the live.
Yeah, it was freaking us all out. I mean, it was fucking croaking. It was a snake croaking, like crazy. Just blew my mind. That was on Aria's channel. So if you ever want to check it out, Steve from Reptile I Am, he did an RWO episode with us, and go back and check it out. Got a croaking snake on it.
I'll have to see that. That's so cool. I love that there's so much about these animals that we don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
Like, there's just so much being discovered. I think it's a really exciting time to be in this area of reptile keeping, because it's just the advancements in husbandry, the advancements in like being able to understand behaviors and like new like behaviors coming to light because of the shift in like how we're approaching their care. It's just all really fascinating, and all the information coming up is really interesting. So I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that really attracted me into this. It was just seeing all the morphs like that you could do. I mean, now I don't think like in retics there's going to be as many morphs as ball pythons, but who knows? Maybe there is, you know, and just
I don't think there's anything that has as many morphs as ball pythons.
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, how could a ball python evolve to this many morphs and like the 20 years that it's been being worked with, or 25 years or whatever? I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, retics and berms, I mean, they've been worked with a lot longer than, you know, the ball python, but it's just, we got 256 odd morphs, and it's just like morphs coming. It seems like at least 5 or 6 more morphs come every year.
Yeah, I mean, people are playing with like there's such a infinite way to combine things too, and people just kind of experimenting with that and learning what it looks like.
I don't think we'll ever hit every combo. I just don't think it could be done. I mean, because something else is going to come out, and then you got to put all these genes to that something else. Like it's crazy. It's nonstop.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely one of those things. It's like, it's for me personally, I'm like, it's too much. I can't even like wrap my head around that many options. I'm like, if I ever got a ball python, I'm just gonna get a normal.
Right?
Yeah. Like,
Super classic.
Yeah.
Then knowing your luck, you'd breed it and make a green snake. You know, I mean, just like off this normal. I mean, it could happen. Why not?
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what's hiding in those genes? For sure.
For sure. So, what is one thing, like your pet peeve, that you think all big snake keepers should do?
Pet peeve of, I mean, I think one of the things that I've seen is that gets on my nerves, and I try not to let it, because I'm a very big proponent of control what you can control, and what you can't, just let it go. But something that does irk me sometimes is seeing people work with bigger snakes that tend to be, they're really easy to read, and they're also really easy to get to behave in certain ways. So people who instigate them in a way that causes them to like strike or bite or whatever, so they can catch it on film and then sensationalize it. Like, that's it's frustrating for me, because it's like, there's a lot of us out there who are trying to reverse that perception, because it's not a correct one. It's not a true perception of what these animals are like, but their snakes are so demonized anyway by the general public. I'm like, this isn't
absolutely.
This is justifying that trope that all the big snakes are really aggressive and mean, and like they're gonna bite you, and they think everything with a heat signature is food and all of that stuff. And I'm like, that's not true, and this is not helping with that perception. So yeah, that's probably my biggest pet peeve. But like I said, like I do not have the power to change the existence of that on or whatever. So it's like, I just do what I can do to help promote how I experience my own animals. And that's all I can do. So that's what I do, and that's what I focus on, and try not to let the other stuff get to me.
Right. I've been on the image kick, like way early on. Like, we have to clean up our image. And it's funny that Tim popped on, because one of the first times I brought this up on the podcast, Tim was on there and got into an argument with someone over live and frozen thawed. But it's just like, I choose not to show live feedings on my channel to gain recognition for it. I don't want the recognition for how these things eat. We really need to worry about presenting these animals as of what they are. They're our companions. They're our pets. They make great emotional support pets. You know what I mean? And Tim does a really good job at presenting that, and just that's why he was on the show that time. And it's just something that's always in the back of my mind about every video that I put out, every short, anything that we really need. And everybody needs to look in the mirror and worry about the image, because they might fight for our rights, but the township that you live in could all of a sudden say, hey, no more reptiles, period. It's not even your state.
Yeah, someone tried to do that about an hour in a township about an hour from us.
Yeah, West Smith.
Yep.
West Mifflin. Yeah. West Mifflin, yeah.
Yep. West Mifflin. So Jody went down to that town hall, and like, luckily there were so many people there against it. They were like, never mind. and took it off the table. But yeah, it's definitely there's two big questions that I ask myself when it comes to both like what I'm presenting on social media and my approach to breeding animals, and that is, am I making USARK's job harder?
Right.
Yes. And it's in terms of like breeding and bringing in like new babies, and how I am approaching finding homes for these babies. Am I making, like, we follow and support a lot of different really wonderful 501(c) rescues, like reptile rescues. And it's like,
Right.
are we making their job potentially harder in the future from our approach to selling babies, especially since we do the larger constrictors? It's like,
Right.
are we really setting up both the babies and their future homes for success? Or are we not doing our due diligence and we're just like, cool, here's a snake, see you later, which, it is what it is. And again, I can do what I can do, right, in terms of my animals. I don't have control over anybody else, and I do not want that control over anybody else because that's too much. But yeah, those are the two main questions that we ask ourselves here when it comes to social media and breeding projects.
I'm sure they'll be knocking on your door, Tim.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, that's
Tim will have to rescue it.
I know, right?
right.
Tim is such a wonderful resource, though, because he really does
Absolutely
a wonderful job showing people not only the true nature of bigger constrictors, but the ability for them to actually shift in behavior when they're treated
What up, Benji?
well. So I think Tim does just a wonderful job.
Thank you. That's great.
So,
I mean,
animal control knows you good. I'm glad, Tim.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even, the bigger snakes or the bigger lizards. I mean, he's got foxes and, all kinds of just, wild animals that he's sitting there feeding Cheerios over his shoulders and playing with them. I mean, Tim's great. We all need to kind of watch Tim and follow his lead, because that guy's persona and image is what we all should strive for. 100%.
Agreed. Tim is awesome. We're just having a Tim love fest right now.
I like Tim. I mean, I've never met him in person, but just watching his videos, he is an inspiration.
Well, you met him in person on the live.
Well, I'm talking about face to face.
Oh, in the real world, you mean? In the real world?
Yeah, in the real world.
Okay.
Real world. Yeah, that word.
Get it out.
Elias Santos.
Cogs is Elias. He is
what up, Elias?
So he's extra cranky and opinionated right now.
Thanks for coming in, Sundog, Josh, and then Santos and Elias.
Josh
sure.
And Sarah.
Yeah, we got to meet him in person last year. He came to our place for an event, so that was really awesome to get to meet him in person.
He's one of my secret idols that I look up to in here. I guess it's not too much a secret, but I do look up to Tim for sure, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the last question I got for you is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to talk about?
I don't think so. You had some good questions.
I think I covered a pretty good basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, Carlos?
What up, Carlos?
I don't think anyone asked any questions in the comments.
I haven't seen
it. There was one they wanted to know what locality retics or berms you was doing.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I work, so I don't have any pure localities. I have a 50% Coyote, Doc Murdoch line lady. That's April O'Neil. And then Stella is a 50% Kalatoa, 6.25% Jamp. And I have all the rest of them are a combination of Kalatoa Jamp. Our Orange Glow girl is, she's awake. She's out and about. She is 35. Nope. She's over 30% Jamp and then 25% Kalatoa. I can get her out if you want to see her.
Oh, always.
Yeah, break it out.
You're going to talk about it. Be about it.
You know? Let me get this on solo.
There you go. I was just reaching to do that. Thank you. Thank you, Stan.
Come on. I got a mouse. Come on. You got a finger. I got a mouse. Come on.
See, I'd be shaking in my shoes right now, reaching in for something that big.
That ain't that big.
No, that ain't too bad. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, she's our tiny girl. She is 2.5 years old.
Nice.
And she's this big. She's a little girl. She did good though. She just ate 2 days ago, so she's notorious for coming out hot after she eats. But she did a good job. You're being a good girl, huh? But yeah, she's our she's 37.5% Jamp, 25% Kalatoa, and she is just so pretty. I think she's very yellow. She's a yellow glow. Yeah.
She is pretty.
Yeah, she's our little liquid
Agree
sunshine
there.
girl. Yeah, she's our orange glow head anery. There's not a ton of these guys in dwarf, super dwarf right now. Hi. Yeah.
And how old did you say she is?
It's about 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your oldest is how old?
Stella is our oldest girl. She's 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how big is she?
Stella's our 12-foot girl. She's just over 12 feet. And this one she's probably around 5, maybe a little over 5.
So do they have the same locality or a little different?
No, a little different. So
Okay.
Stella is higher percent. Stella is technically, by industry standards, a super dwarf. And this girl is a dwarf. Because she is, that over 30% Jamp and then the 25% Kalatoa.
But didn't you say her mom backstage was only 10 feet?
Yeah, her mom is 10 feet at, I think she's 11 years old.
Nice.
So her mom is tiny. So we're not expecting her to get super big. She's staying pretty tiny.
Now, see, that I can handle. I'd be all right with that. It's just the pure size of them that's intimidating to me.
Yeah, I mean, even Stella at 12 feet, I feel like the dwarf, super dwarf localities are lighter bodied than the mainlands. Hi. So, like, even Stella at 12 feet, I've had people handle her and hold her, and they're like, it doesn't feel like 12 foot of snake. It feels less than that because she's lighter. Like, at her heaviest weight, she's 40 pounds.
Wow.
Long. So she's pretty, she's got really good muscle tone because she climbs around all the time, but she's really tractable and really easy to work with. So I know Tim has worked with Stella before, and Tim has mainlands. So I remember Tim working with Stella and being like, she's so tiny. Yeah, comparatively.
So Abby, do you follow Lady Tiz, Nicole?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
Lady Tiz is awesome.
Yeah, she's got some really beautiful retics. And
She does.
She just lets them roam, like let them out, and
Yep.
they're
Them go.
super intelligent. They will watch you back and forth what you're doing in the room.
Yep. Yeah, one of my girl that I was saying I moved up higher, my girl April, the way that I let her out now is I literally just put a little step stool outside of her enclosure and open her door up.
Huh.
And she comes out on her own terms, and I'll be working at my desk doing like some drawing or whatever, and all of a sudden I feel like her head on my foot, and she'll crawl up on my lap, come say hello. They're really fascinating, wonderful animals.
Kent just got lit up by his blood. He must have had one too many beers.
Whoops. Oh, blood's hit hard too.
Yeah, he's gotten lit up by that thing before.
I seen someone when me and Tommy went to the show a couple weeks ago. She wanted to hold the blood, and the guy's like, yeah. And the people right next to him was like, I don't know if I do that. He's like, no, it'll be fine. And then,
Famous last words.
you know the outcome wasn't fine. I'll just put it to you like that. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean, she took it like a champ. She was like, "Oh, it's no big deal. It happens all the time." And I'm like, "Okay." I guess. I mean, if you're used to it, you're used to it. But
yeah, Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say.
just weird because I know, like, the Bloods can be a little temperamental. Not all of them, but I think the thing is, at a show, if you're letting someone pick up that same constant blood, they're just, it's
All
almost
that
like
commotion.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know. So I'm not saying that they're aggressive, but I just feel like they can be a little temperamental here and there.
Yeah, and if they're getting overwhelmed at a show and you know that they
Yeah.
to strike when they're at a show, then maybe not the best one to get let someone
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And I mean, it was a nice looking blood. It would look like, I don't know. I'm not into bloods, but I'll just say it kind of looked xanthic. It was more white with like black spots on it and black up on its head, but it was definitely a really nice blood.
Yeah, bloods are gorgeous. Like Borneo short tails, blood, like they're all really beautiful. I've never had a personal interest in those particular species, but they're super cool looking.
Right. Well, we hit that hour point. We're going to start shutting it down.
Hey.
Abby, you want to give everyone tell them where they can find you and little information about you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's the curly haired keeper on all of the things on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. I do have a TikTok. I don't use it right now because I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok, and it's currently on the hate end of that spectrum. So, but yeah, I do have a Facebook. I don't do a ton on Facebook. Everything that shows up on Facebook is via my Instagram. So Instagram's usually the best place to like interact and stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Stan, you want to give us your
You know me,
go?
baby. Support US Arc Florida, man. Don't it's free. You can become a member too. I think it's like $3 a month if you want the lowest membership. So, and don't forget, man, please become a US Arc member. I mean, strength in numbers, if it wasn't for them, it's kind of hard to say where this hobby might really be,
Yeah.
So the more the merrier. I mean, we need those numbers, like you was saying, you had a local meeting by you, big numbers show up, they take that topic and it's off the table.
It makes such
And it kind of, when US Arc does it, they try to do the local ones here in Florida. They put the word out, and if big enough crowd shows up, they push it to the next meeting. They don't, okay, we're going to pass. I mean, don't get me wrong, Florida's some tough laws, but I'd see it loosening up a little bit with the new people that I've got in with FWC and how they're helping and working with US Arc Florida. So strength in numbers, everybody's support, man. It's just keep grinding. Do you keep doing your thing and keep your head up. Ken, I appreciate you, and Abby, I appreciate you coming on as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. How much are we up to for the views or whatever you said you donate to US Arc?
Oh, we didn't hit 40, so we only hit 30. So I'll donate $1 this week.
Okay, I'll match it.
Cool. Awesome. We're up to 15 on the year. Just
nice.
But I already made one $20 donation. We hit 10, and then I doubled it, so I made a $20 donation this year.
Cool.
So I'll probably do the same. Wait till it hits 20, then donate 40.
Awesome. Almost hit
Like
a bronze membership.
Yeah, I should collect it and give one out instead of donating it.
Well, we can donate some. We're gonna donate some money to US Arc when we get there in Daytona this year. So
right,
we're gonna be dropping little change in that bucket over there.
For sure.
I'll renew mine when I'm there because it'll be like a couple weeks due before then. So I'll renew it while I'm at Daytona, and it'll be done and over with. And it's easier that way. You can get your shirt and everything. Nobody has to wait in the mail. So if you do come to Daytona and you need to renew, you can renew your US Arc membership right there. Get your shirt, pay them, and boom.
Nice.
Look at that. Will said he'll match it. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up, Will.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you to all you guys out there in the chat. We definitely appreciate every single one of you for your support. Abby, awesome show. It was great getting to know you. Shout out to the sponsors. Will, the new one from 217 Pythons. Heck yeah. Eddie from Static Morphs, thank you as always. He is also a channel member. So, Eddie double dipping. We like them double dippers. Steve, it's your boy from area. RGI, you guys are great. I appreciate all of you. This Thursday, we're on Vance's channel for the RWO show. So, we'll all see you there. And until next week, peace. We'll end it there. Get a couple.